Hey, this is Van with Van Life Biker Show. I feel that this is very important. With owning a Sprinter, just all the different fluids, and I'm going to go over all the research that I have came up with over, hours and hours, days and days, really, of trying to research stuff, looking through forums and so forth to find the correct fluids, the oils, power steering, gear oil, on and on and on. So if you're interested in, what type of oil to use, I'm going to share with you my particular research, and hopefully it all works out for you. That's, kind of my disclaimer. Do your own research, of course, but this will get you somewhere, pointed in the right direction, and I feel you'll probably be okay. I chose to use it in my own vehicle, so obviously that's how I feel. So moving on, because we got a lot to cover here. First of all, fuel injectors, guys. I've seen this stuff work wonders. Seafoam, it is good for diesel vehicles. So you can put this in your Sprinter. I feel very high on Seafoam. It's good stuff. It's about, $9-10 a bottle, depending on where you are. Sometimes you can catch it on sale, but good stuff in my opinion. I own particularly a 2006 Sprinter. I assume that this was the new car manual that came with the Sprinter. So this is from the manufacturer, guys. This was all in a nice booklet, as you can see. Mine is a Dodge Sprinter, but as you can also see, this manual here in particular does not say Dodge. So, it's always questionable with these Sprinters. There is no authorized authority over these Sprinters, and the reason why is because they were all parts, I assume, shipped over from overseas and brought over here into the States and assembled in North Carolina, South Carolina, I can't remember, and I believe they're still making them there today. But what happened is they shipped them out to Dodge, Freightliner, Mercedes, of course, may even be another one I might be missing, but to my research, my understanding, they were shipped with no fluids, I guess, and each car manufacturer added their own fluids. So that's why there is a lot of discrepancy on what fluids to use, guys. So it comes down to, if you're changing that particular fluid completely out, I don't think any of these fluids I'm going to recommend that you could use will hurt anything, but you get into a shady area where you start mixing fluids, and that can be a big no-no with a lot of situations. It says even on the back of bottles, a lot of times do not mix the fluids. So that's why I felt this was a very important topic. This here is right out of the manual. You guys can pause it for different oils that you guys can use in your Sprinter. This is out of a 2006 manual. As far as I know, it is an original manual that came with the vehicle. Here's the other page. Down to, let's get that last one there. Here's a little more information, general information on different things you can use for brake fluids, oils, all that stuff. And I'm going to go over all that stuff, guys, on what I used. Trying to find it in the world today, of course, can be a difficulty situation as well. So this for the injectors. We'll move on to oil. What oil did I use? I used a Mobil oil. Have all the oils laid out over here. I used this guy here. And if you look back in the manual, it has a star beside this one, and it wasn't very expensive. It is not a full synthetic. Not so sure full synthetics were really that popular back in 2006 either. Or even if they were even out in certain things like motor oil. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff now, gear oil, and so forth. So a lot of people are using the T6 made by Rotella. That is an extremely hard oil to find right now. So if you can find it, a lot of people speak highly of it. I was going to try it out because a lot of people are having good results with that. But, I wasn't able to find it, to be honest. It's sold out as soon as it hits the shelves. And what I did read at one point, they're not going to make it anymore until the end of the quarter of this year, 2022. So last quarter in the year, so maybe we'll start seeing it on the shelves more towards the end of the year. Now this stuff here, found it right at Walmart, easy to find. I did buy this probably a year or two back, so everything's changing in the world, but Mercedes-Benz says it's good for. It's a Dodge, but it is a Mercedes-Benz product, as it says there, for all Mercedes-Benz models. So I went with this, and I did mix it. I did not change out the antifreeze. I'll probably wait till next year. I just wanted to top it off, so I used this Xerox G48, it's called. So moving on to transmission fluid, guys. This has been the replacement, from what I hear. It's a Shell product, once again hard to find. It's the 134 ATF for your tranny fluid, and I'll go into a little bit of that here at the end. We'll circle back to an actual tranny service, the two different types and the capacities and stuff. I ordered a 6-pack case, I guess rather, off of Amazon with this. Took a couple weeks to get it, but it was the cheapest I could find. It was around less than $8 a quart. So 6 did not do the job for me, unfortunately. So a little stressed. I didn't want to be shut down for another 2-3 weeks waiting on fluid. So researched a little bit more in depth and came up with this here at my local stores. You can obtain this stuff here, Royal Purple. It's a synthetic oil, and I did mix it. I didn't feel great about it, but lots of times you'll add like a, back in the day, if you're old as me, we used to use like a STP treatment and stuff in your motor oil and things like that. So I'm not too concerned with a little of this and a little of that, but some things are a little more important than others, and that would bring us to a big one here with, well, a couple actually, but we'll go to brake fluid. The 5.1, I guess, supersedes the 4 Plus is what you're going to find on your cap, the DOT 4 Plus. I guess you would have to go to the actual dealer to see what they call 4 Plus. There is no existence of DOT 4 Plus, so you don't have to research into that. But you do not want to use the 5.0. The 0.1 is definitely what you want, guys. The 5, DOT 5, I use in my Harley Davidson, and it's a silicone-based product. So you don't want to mix the silicone products with the non-silicone products. And the 4 can be used, to my understanding, but you will experience more corrosive and issues and stuff in the braking system. So if you change the .4 frequently, maybe every 6 months, every year, I didn't want to have to go through that hassle. The 4 is acceptable from my understanding. So you could use a .4, but you're more prone to issues. So if you change it out frequently, you're not going to experience the issues. The .1, 5.1 is the stuff you really want. Prestone makes a form of this, and actually the boiling temperature was slightly higher. I believe it was 519 degrees. So 519 versus 500 with this stuff here. We'll go on to, I've got a slip here. This is off the bottle. This stuff is very hard to find. You'll have to research that 0512738 1AA number there on the bottom, and that's going to be for your power steering fluid. If you're getting into power steering fluid change, or if you do own a Dodge, straight from a Dodge dealer, they told me do not put power steering fluid in there. Make sure it's a hydraulic fluid. So that sent me on a chase of searching hydraulic fluids to use. So this is a Mopar product. There are very few dealerships that deal with sprinters in general, and very few that even still carry this stuff. Crazy enough, I got it off of Walmart.com. So maybe that'll point you in a good direction there. Rear end, changing the differential. This was straight from Dodge dealer as well. They advised me that any 75W-140 weight full synthetic gear oil would be acceptable. So just got this right off the shelf at a local Walmart, and that's a Valvoline product. So we'll get into transmission service. If you're going to drain the torque converter, guys, I used almost 9 quarts. In my opinion, it's probably some kind of metric conversion from quarts to liters, possibly. But this is what you're going to get into if you do a full service. You're going to want to pull your valve body once you drop the pan, and this is going to be up on top of all of that. And you'll pull this out. Now, if you when you pull this out, you're going to have these relays that go inside these circles here, and this sun in my eyes here, yeah, here's the holes. You're going to have a bolt that's going to come down through this hole, and don't tighten that up too much, guys. When you put it back in, you'll notice that there's not a whole lot of torque on that. You've got 2 on the other side there. I believe that might be reverse, and whatever other gear it is, just because it's off to the side, I'm just guessing. I know there was one relay that was a little different than all the others, so I'm assuming that was reverse. When you pull this guy out, there are 2 attachment points. One being, let's see, right here on the tip here, and then this guy here on the 2-sided relay area. There's a little stud, and it sticks out, a few inches here. So that held me up, and I wasn't aware of it because I wanted to hang on to this just in case the part that I put in there, these sensors and stuff, all this stuff worked correctly. If it didn't, then I'd have to drop the pan and just stick this one back in, because we'd be 2-3 weeks out on getting parts once again. One of the major hassles with owning a Sprinter, everything has to be ordered. As far as I know on research, once again, I believe these are RPM sensors. be speed. I can't remember. This guy spins though, so not sure on that one. I can't remember if I do. We've got a 13 pin little guy here that goes, and what you want to do, guys, silly me, while I was waiting on it to drain, I changed this out, replaced it with the new one before I dropped the pan, not knowing that it plugged in to the actual dealio that I was changing out. Here's your filter, just snaps into place. Make sure you got an O-ring on there. Piece of cake on the filter itself. And if you're just doing a regular change, you'll drain the fluid, pull the plug, drop the pan, change the filter, put it all back together. If you're gonna, go deep into it and pull that valve body and replace the whole kit and caboodle and drain your torque converter, you're gonna have to turn that over by hand. There's a couple plastic covers up there in between the transmission and the motor, and you'll find another drain valve on the torque converter. So that will pull the fluid out of the torque converter. So once you drain that, you're going to be looking at almost 9 quarts of fluid, guys. So pretty expensive ordeal, because this fluid is upwards of about $8 a quart for the Shell product I found, and that Royal stuff was about $15 a quart. So here's your connector. This will go inside, and this little tab, once you push the connector in there, and it was a booger, this is going to get pushed up towards the roof of the van, and that locks it in once you get it in there. So I think that about sums up all the fluids. Torque settings and stuff I don't have on hand, but don't get crazy on tightening up that stuff on that transmission for sure. I can't remember, just going off of memory, don't quote me, but I want to say 6 pounds. It was in Newton meters measurement, but that stuff's all easily obtained. But it's just aluminum, so you don't want to tighten that stuff up tight at all. But definitely use a torque wrench, look up the specs. And once you are finished with your transmission service, guys, you want to start it up and just shift from drive to reverse, drive to reverse, go back into park. Do it a dozen times before you even put any stress at all on the actual pull of the vehicle. Just keep your foot on the brake, and then throw it in reverse and back up a foot, and then throw it in drive and drive forward a foot. Just be easy on it, because all that tranny fluid needs to get back into the torque converter and get circulated through all those little fine ports and stuff, since you've drained the complete transmission. So as far as time, it's probably a 4 or 5 hour project, and definitely wouldn't hurt to have a helper. You're going to have transmission fluid up to your elbows, guys, so it is not an easy task, I'm going to say that. Definitely be a person, or have a person with you that works with their tools. If you're just doing a normal flush change filter, pretty simple. Anybody could probably handle that situation. Just make sure you use a torque wrench to put the pan back on. But if you're going in deeper, it gets a little scary. You're going to have to turn that motor over, as I said, to drain the torque converter. So you're going to have to put the motor in neutral. That's another topic I guess I could hit on. I put the motor in neutral, dropped the valve body, did everything with the vehicle in neutral, put it all back together the same way I took it out. I am no ASE certified mechanic by no means. I'm just a glorified parts replacer. But I got through it. It did have a little hesitancy with shifting into 5th gear, but it has since cleared up. So if you have that issue, I wouldn't stress out immediately. Just drive it a little bit. Maybe even the next day, drive a little more. Might clear itself up like mine did. So everything seems to be shifting fine. That first day, if I would have jumped the gun and went back in there, it was probably just circulations of the fluids inside, getting all the fluids back into the torque converter over time and such. So I think that about sums it up, guys. 134A on Freon, just a normal type of Freon that we use today, pretty common. And I think that's pretty much every fluid there is. I wanted to hit on every one. Actually, wiper fluid, crazy enough. On the newer models, I've heard that you do require the pink stuff. I have read that as far as washer fluid for your windshield washer. I don't believe it's required in 2006 or before. I have kind of kept an eye out for the pink stuff and haven't been able to find it, so I'll probably just go with the Rain-X or something. I think that stuff's kind of universal. Maybe stay away from the blue stuff. Maybe get into some of that orange stuff by Rain-X. Might be $1 more a bottle or something, but I don't know. I haven't really read that it's required in the older Sprinters, but if you know the answer to that, drop it in the comments. We're all learning from each other. That's what this channel's all about. And any other different fluids that you may use with your Sprinter, and what make of Sprinter you have, if it's a Mercedes or a Freightliner or what have you. I don't believe I said the quantity if you're just doing a filter change on the transmission, and I researched that was 5. Hence why I bought a case of 6 and thought I was good. But I couldn't find anything that told me 9. So I ended up getting the short end of the stick, and hopefully that saves you guys in the future. And I don't think it's quite 9. I put 9 in mine, but it's a little tiny bit high on the dipstick, and you really don't want to do that either. So I would kind of hang on to maybe that last half quart and nurse it in there, maybe a half a cup at a time, until you get your tranny fluid up there. Another thing you want to do with transmission fluid, make sure your motor temperature is up to temperature, because that transmission fluid is going to rise as it gets hot. Once again, mine is a 2006 model, so I assume that applies to all T1N models. I do not know. Once again, do your own research if you have an 02 or a 2010 or whatever. But just sharing my knowledge and my experiences with what I have had to deal with. And it has literally taken up days of my life that I'll never get back, versus just owning, your normal car. Oh, I need some power steering fluid or whatever, and you just go up to the store and buy it. It's just insanity with questions with these things, with all your fluids. So I thought this was a very important video to get out to you guys, and I just wanted to share my knowledge and my experiences. So hopefully it helps you guys. Smash that subscribe button, guys. I sure would appreciate it. We're almost up to 400 subscribers now. And, I'm not much of a movie maker. I'll give you that. And maybe that's why we're not growing real fast. But I guess the channel is just kind of steered into work, because that's what I've been doing. So if you want to maintain your vehicle, you want to, understand electrical and plumbing and carpentry, I'm here for you through your entire build, maintenance. Any questions you guys have, drop it below that particular video if you have any questions, and I'll try my best to get back to you as usual. I don't know of any questions I haven't answered in the past. So, I'm always here for you. It might take me a day or two or something, but usually get back to you within hours here lately. Not working at the moment, so that's definitely going to be a factor in the future. But that's why we built this van, so I can travel for work. And once we start traveling, we'll do some footage on the road, and I think that's going to help the channel grow as well. Most people just like to see the traveling aspect of things and not really see the behind the scenes work that it takes to do a van build and maintain these vans, and the unseen part that nobody wants to really show on their channel, but it's just reality of things that need to be done, guys. So till next time, this is Van with the Van Life Biker Show. Smash that like and leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or any experiences to share with others. But this is what I did. So till next time, like and subscribe. I appreciate you. Peace.